We rolling? Okay. So let's unpack that. Now, what did we talk about your visual field being a helper? Let's talk about when it goes wrong. I have two funny stories about visual perception going wrong. One of them is a story on my sweet husband. Before I met Stan, he was going to his brother's rehearsal dinner before he got married. And it was like at a fogo de chão, I mean, the Brazilian steakhouse, kind of fire, all of these things. And he looked at the door, and it was this big, thick door with this ornamental handle on it. Okay? So when you look at something your body is telling you, it's giving you these clues. It's talking to your muscle spindles. It's talking to all of this. So he reached for the door. He preloaded everything that his body needed to get that done. Bam! He had to end up going to get stitches right there. He busted his nose. It was one of those faux painted doors that was made to look thick.
They're horrible.
I mean, that's when proprioceptors go wrong. 9 times out of 10, they keep us safe, but sometimes they go wrong. So this is how much we're drawing all of this information from our environment. The other one is, and the chicks will appreciate this more than the guys in the room, I live with 2 men now. I used to live with 3 men. Hi, Cash. A notification will show up that your crazy mom posted a YouTube video. So anyway, how many of you, okay, so I can wake up in the middle of the night. I know the path to go to master bathroom, and my quads know when to start and when to stop whenever I'm sitting down to potty in the middle of the night. Unless some person that I love leaves the seat up.
Stand so fast.
Okay, so here's what we really know. If we were to actually measure that scientifically, that's really only about an inch drop. How far does it feel? It feels like miles, okay? Because all of a sudden, your quads, your proprioceptors turned off, you surrendered to gravity, and you had fallen deeper than you ever thought possible. Our proprioceptors help us all the time. They keep us from going wrong if we pay attention to them. So I'll need for muscle spindles, run the length of the muscle, keeping things safe. Golgi tendon organs come in and stop that motion when things get a little bit too intense. Does that make sense? They got it when you got it?
Got it.
Awesome. So a few more things for us to talk about. I want to talk about force production, and that's on the top of page 12. It's interesting that we're talking about some actual training mechanisms as we move into the class. I used a really cool word when I talked about what Stan did when he grabbed that handle. Started with a P. What did I say? He preloaded. Okay? You guys, you've done it in the gym before and not realized what you were doing. Let's just say you're about to do cleans. And all of a sudden, you're loaded, or you're about to do whatever you're about to do. All of a sudden, you're there, and you preload for what you're about to have take place. Preloading is a beautiful way to increase muscle recruitment. That's when it comes down to, with muscles, spindles, using the right muscles to get the job done. Because remember, we have stimulated twitch once we have jumped into acetylcholine. Now we just have to recruit the right muscles to get the job done. Now what we know is we're a mix of all kinds of twitch fibers. You're predominantly more one than the other. So if you're a type 2 twitch person, you probably have realized that you are better at force production, power. If you are a type 1 person, you've probably found out that you're better at more. Now this might mean you don't like it, but you're really better at events that really are more endurance-based, because that's the makeup of your twitch type. But when we think about athletes being able to increase force production, you guys, we have to all of a sudden use heavier loads in order to optimize neural recruitment. You guys remember, which of your systems is the first to arrive on the scene? Nervous system. You got to keep your nervous system alive. You got to keep challenging your nervous system. Did you know that all of a sudden, if you increase your bench press, it's because you increased your nervous system first before you increase the hypertrophy in the sarcomere? That was a nervous system change first. Whenever someone vertical jumps better, more efficiently, that's due to a nervous system change first than a muscle change first. Your nervous system changes first. So we got to keep the nervous system going. You guys, you got to increase the cross-sectional area. Think about that. If you want to move more, you got to get more muscles involved. And you guys, then you got to do multi-joint exercises. You guys, this whole thing, please don't ever just do a bicep curl. Please don't ever just do a bicep curl. Always ask yourself, am I moving more than one joint? Try to move more than one joint with all of your exercise patterns. Try to move more than one joint. That's how an athlete can increase force production. A few things I want you to know, and this is just a few little landmarks. I need you to know a few things about your heart, okay? All of a sudden, you have two chambers, atrium and ventricle. I'm not asking a whole bunch there. I need you to know about your SA node. This is your body's natural pacemaker. Okay? You don't need to trace the area of the blood through the heart. That's not the importance of this class. Your AV node, that's where the impulse is slightly delayed before passing through the ventricles. This is just some basic anatomy there, nothing too big. You need to know what an ECG is. That's the test that we would give someone to measure if they have a heart arrhythmia. Just thinking about things that you would encounter with people. Okay? As far as your blood vessels, okay, I need for you to know that your arteries transport blood away from your heart. All of a sudden, your ventricles are the ones that, your veins are the ones that carry it back to the heart. Now, there's one thing that I think that we don't give enough credit to. I don't think we care about our capillaries enough. I think they're an underestimated but amazing thing. Look about this, the function of the capillaries, and if you've never really thought about this, they exchange oxygen, fluid, nutrients, electrolytes, hormones. You guys, your capillaries are even messing with your estrogen, your testosterone, your growth hormone. You guys, they're in charge of all this interstitial fluid. Think about this from now on. It's kind of gross, but go with me on this. Capillaries are kind of like frat parties. Kappa parties, Kappa parties, capillaries. Think about at a frat party. Think about all the things that get exchanged.